we are coming up on 7:59 on your Wednesday morning drive. I've got some trouble on the west side. This is 217 right now. You're looking at the northbound commute, pretty slow back around Allen Boulevard. There's a fender bender that's just been moved to the shoulder, but man, the northbound lineup is about 2.5 miles back towards Shoals Ferry. So that's running pretty thick on that side of town. We had a fender bender on the outbound, eastbound 84 commute on the Banfield, just east of I-5. It looks like traffic is starting to move a little bit better there, but yeah, we'll keep you posted. Otherwise, no major unexpected delays out there right now. Rod?
Well, Chris, I'm seeing all the sun glare out there, and we do have ourselves another clear sky morning down in Marion County, 55. As you look at the state capitol from our live Salem sky camera, here's downtown Portland. Similar number, 58, a little bit warmer this morning. This is the same batch of air that produced upper 80s yesterday. Today, 73 at noon, 85 expected at 5 o'clock. Now, tomorrow, little wave of cooler weather comes in off the Pacific, so we lower our forecast high to 73. Still looks like we'll be dry through Sunday. We start the 8 o'clock hour of the Sunrise Show with the breaking news we've been following it this morning in Texas. That's where 2 detainees were shot and killed at a Dallas ICE facility. A third person was also shot and is in the hospital.
The suspected shooter is dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound, and it was found on the roof of a nearby immigration attorney's office. So this is a live look at the scene right now from our NBC affiliate in Dallas. We are told that there is going to be a press conference here at any moment. We will break into that as soon as they go live. But sources told our sister station in Dallas that police were still searching for another possible sniper or multiple shooters. Though it remains unclear if there were any other shooters involved in the incident. Police units responding to a U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement office shortly before 7 a.m. their time. Secretary of U.S. Department of Homeland Security Kristi Noem posted on X that there were multiple injuries and fatalities. Noem said the motive is not known yet. And then Vice President J.D. Vance responded to Noem on X saying, quote, "The obsessive attack on law enforcement, particularly ICE, must stop. I'm praying for everyone hurt in the attack and for their families." Again, we are expected a special report from NBC News momentarily. We will also continue to follow this breaking news story live here on KGW Plus and online at kgw.com.
While we wait for that special report from NBC, we'll check in with Chris McGinnis and Rod Hill here for a look at weather and traffic.
Well, thank you for that. Good morning, everybody. This is our second day of very warm summer-like temperatures in the afternoon for inland areas. Now, you folks at the coast, this is your cool-off day. This is, I mean, it looks pretty socked in, but I'm still going to refer to it as shallow fog. It will clear. This is Schnickwins Casino Resort in Lincoln City, where it's 47. Beach highs in the 70s yesterday. We'll hold in the 60s today. But inland areas, the clear sky start, 58 degrees. Again, we'll be warming up into the 80s, 73 at noon, 85 for you at 5 o'clock. Other temperatures statewide, pretty much all in the 80s. That's your update for now. Here's Chris.
Okay, Rod, thanks for that. I'm going to go back out to the west side. I'm going to zoom in on 217 right now. Northbound, got a little fender bender action near Denny. I think if you look closely, you can see it on the right-hand side of your screen there, the upper right-hand corner. So it's out of the way, but the northbound drive is plugged up for about 2 miles back to almost 99W. So you'll need a little extra time on that northbound 217 commute. I can bring it up on the traffic map here and show you speeds down to about 12 miles an hour or so on that side of town. All right, the big perspective, I mean, there's a lot of red on the map, but we expect that this hour of a Wednesday morning commute. Here's a quick look at the Banfield. We had an earlier crash eastbound just past the I-5 split. Looks like that's moved out of the way, but we're still running a little thick on the exit ramp that takes you up to Interstate 84. Elsewhere, drive times shaping up like this right now. The trip in from Wilsonville has jumped up now in the last little while. Guys, that's now averaging 35 minutes at last check.
Thank you, Chris. Authorities have confirmed that a man has been shot and killed in northwest Portland. This happened last night, and this was the scene on Northwest Nikolai Street near 29th. Police say shots were fired just after 8:30, and despite paramedics and a bystander rushing to save him, the victim died at the scene. So far, no suspect has been identified.
The search continues this morning for a local murder suspect who was mistakenly released from jail earlier this week.
The Multnomah County Sheriff's Office says the mistake happened even after a judge ordered that the suspect remain in custody. Sunrise reporter Corey Johnson joins us live from the Multnomah County Courthouse with the latest. Corey.
Well, 26-year-old Tyler Sage was jailed back in May for second-degree murder and first-degree robbery tied to a 2021 killing. Now, in December 2021, two people were found injured at a Gresham apartment complex. 15-year-old Logan Ivy was shot and killed. And according to court records, it was a drug deal gone wrong in which Sage and another suspect were also trying to buy guns from the victim. A judge ordered Sage stay behind bars after prosecutors presented evidence during a hearing last week, but he was mistakenly released on Monday. The Multnomah County Sheriff's Office says employees tried to get clarification on an initial release order that was signed September 17th, which showed both that the release was denied, but also that bail was set at $5,000. In a statement, the communications director for the Sheriff's Office wrote in part, "We're committed to conducting a review of the incident to have a full understanding of what occurred and to identify improvements that can be made in our communications with the court and the Sheriff's Office." Now, anyone with information on Sage's whereabouts is asked to call local police. Drew, China.
Obviously, a story we'll continue to cover. That's Corey Johnson live for us in downtown Portland. Meanwhile, in Lane County, more than 90,000 people who get their Medicaid through Pacific Source are in danger of losing their coverage. That's because Pacific Source notified the Oregon Health Authority last week that it's not planning to renew its contract. Both sides say they are working to find a way to make sure there is not a gap in coverage.
The relatives of the three people who died by electrocution during last year's ice storm are now suing PGE and the landlord for $375 million. Tasha Leah Briggs, her brother Teron Briggs, and her boyfriend Devontae Nash died after slipping on ice and coming into contact with a live wire. All three were trying to protect Briggs and Nash's 9-month-old son. The baby survived thanks to a neighbor who put herself in harm's way to rescue him. The lawsuit alleges PGE failed to maintain the wires and pole in safe condition. It also claims Legacy Property Management failed to keep the driveway clear of ice and didn't warn about dangerous conditions. PGE says it does not comment on pending litigation. We also reached out to the landlord but have not heard back.
A 5-year-old girl died after a suspected drowning in Fairview Lake. Sheriff's deputies say they responded to reports of a child in the water just before 11:30 yesterday morning. First responders both at the scene and at the hospital tried unsuccessfully to revive the girl. There's still no details on the circumstances that led up to her suspected drowning.
A former guest at a Newport motel is facing criminal charges after he allegedly used hidden cameras to spy on other guests. This happened at the Holiday Inn Express in South Beach. Investigators say 39-year-old Saban McKinnon of Montana placed small cameras under doors and watched other people live on his phone. Police allege that he's been doing this at hotels in several states and has possibly recorded people for years.
Members of Beaverton's Korean community gathered for a town hall yesterday to address the vandalism at a local Korean church earlier this year. Someone spray painted racist graffiti on the church on 2 separate occasions. The Korean Society of Oregon, along with leaders from both the city of Beaverton and Multnomah County, are encouraging people to report any crime they see, whether they consider it to be big or small.
These kind of discussions are so important to get everyone to understand the importance of calling and reporting. It may not fit the crime, but at least we're reporting what the behavior is and we can take a peek at it.
The president of the Korean Society of Oregon says members of their community sometimes fail to report crimes to police because they fear retaliation.
Cute.
Yeah, this next story definitely falls into the cute category of the Sunrise Show, but it's also a little sad because one of the Oregon Zoo's most popular residents is moving out. We're talking about Nora the polar bear, who's heading to a zoo in Wisconsin where she's going to be paired with the male polar bear. That's our favorite shot of her in the tub. She's going to be paired with a male polar bear with the goal of having cubs as part of a species survival plan. So Nora's heading out, but another bear is moving in. 2-year-old Khalik is heading our way from St. Louis. He's described as energetic and playful and ready to take his next steps towards adulthood.
And again, I'm willing to take one for the team and go out there with Nora and hold the pups and show you them. And
Her cubs?
Cubs.
Her yet to be born
Her
cubs?
yet to be born cubs, yeah. When they are born, I volunteer as tribute to hold them and show them to you live on TV.
I still want you to go up to the zoo. Isn't this, what was it, Otter Week? Otter, what is it? It's
Sea Otter Awareness Week.
That's what it is.
I'm very aware of
I want you in the chair just staring at the otters 24/7 because I know you love them.
I love them.
All right. Here's our Timberline Lodge camera. Beautiful clear sky morning, and it will be another pretty warm day. The coast is a mixed bag of some shallow fog and some sun. You can see the sun coming through on the bridge there. That's the bridge to the bay or the harbor. 101 Depot Bay, the view from the Channel House down there in Lincoln County. Going to be a nice 60-something degree day at the coast on this Wednesday. Clear skies out over the Reserve Vineyards and Golf Club and Aloha, calm winds, 58 degrees. Beautiful morning to be out working, playing, golfing. Really going to be nice out. Temperatures, interesting variance. 46 Battleground, 61 Beaverton, 58 Westland, 52 Oregon City. And I'm assuming the reason for the variance in the temperature, some areas have just a smidge of wind, other areas have no wind at all. Skies are perfectly clear across the region. Our temperature march, if you will, 72 at noon today, 82 at 3 o'clock. Seems to be a likelihood that we will be back up into the mid-80s. Yesterday it was 87 in Salem and 88 in Portland. This shows mainly 80s for a second day in a row across the state, except for the beach where temperatures will be in the 60s instead of the 70s. Yesterday Astoria was 77. So, I mean, it's that time of the year. Could this be our final 85-degree day until next spring sometime? Maybe. We'll see. 73 tomorrow. We definitely have a cooler wave coming in off the Pacific waters, but still a mostly sunny day. All dry through Sunday. Rain at times looking increasingly likely starting early Monday morning, and then a second weather system on Tuesday, and there may even be some showers lingering into Wednesday. Here's Chris McGinnis.
You mean we may have to fire up the radar?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. That means the traffic man's probably going to be busy on Monday morning as well. We're busy right now. 217 northbound over on the right shoulder there. That's a little fender bender near Allen Boulevard. It's still got traffic running kind of thick here right through what's left of the construction zone. Of course, that 217 construction project nearing completion here. But in any event, northbound still pretty slow all the way back to 99W. All right, let's go out a little wider and take you down into, well, out to Murray Boulevard. We are lined up in the sunshine right now. 16 miles an hour is what our speed sensors say that eastbound commute's looking like from Murray Boulevard. At last check now, 30 minutes gets you in from Hillsborough to downtown.
All right, Chris, one of our favorite stories this week on the Sunrise Show, Fat Bear Week. It's happening in Alaska. Voting is underway. You can actually vote for your favorite fat bear in the state of Alaska. We'll take a look at the sizable competition in just a few minutes. Then later.
Jimmy Kimmel's late night show on ABC back on the air after a firestorm over free speech from his temporary suspension. I'm Alice Barr in Washington. Coming up, where he's still not airing and President Trump's response.
Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
Let's get back to the breaking news we've been following this morning in Texas. That's where 2 detainees were shot and killed at a Dallas ICE facility. A third person was also shot and is in the hospital.
The suspected shooter is dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound and was found on the roof of a nearby immigration attorney's office. This is a live look at the scene right now from our NBC affiliate in Dallas. They are getting ready for a press conference. We're expected to hear more information as to what unfolded this morning. But sources told our sister station in Dallas that police were still searching for another possible sniper or multiple shooters. Hopefully we'll learn more of that from the press conference. But we do know that police units responded to a U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement office shortly before 7 a.m. their time. U.S. Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem posted on X saying that there were multiple injuries and fatalities. Noem said that a motive is not known yet. Vice President J.D. Vance also said on X that the obsession attack on law enforcement, particularly ICE, must stop. He's praying for everyone hurt in the attack and for their families. Again, we are expected a special report from NBC News momentarily. We will also continue to follow this breaking news story live here on KGW Plus and online at kgw.com.
While we wait for another update on that story, we have more breaking news to share with you this morning. 2 high school students in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania are in the hospital. A school official says a fellow student stabbed both of them in the stomach with a small knife. A third student was cut to their hand. The suspect also got cut in his hand and was treated at the scene before police took him into custody. Investigators say the stabbing stemmed from a fight inside the school.
All right, your time now is 8:14. Again, we're still waiting for that press conference to happen here momentarily, but we are told that it is that time again when...
Tough transition, but here we go.
Tough transition, guys. All right, it is Big Bear, what do we call it?
Fat Bear.
Fat Bear Week. Yeah, rangers are tracking just how much weight their brown bears can pack on before their long winter naps.
Yeah, this means it's time to vote as well. They consider this the fluffiest beauty pageant in America. Fluffy? Really? It's more grisly than fluffy. This is done March Madness bracket style. You can vote for your favorite bears. You can actually vote for biggest belly, best comeback story, or simply, again, your favorite fat bear up there in Alaska. Last year, more than 1 million people from all around the world cast a ballot. You can catch a glimpse of these bears on webcams that are placed all across this national park setting. And you can cast your vote at explore.org. 3 words, explore.org. Is org a word? Can I call org a word, Ron?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, thank you.
I bet you if you just Google Fat Bear Week, that link will also pop up.
Yeah,
I would
that's
think,
probably
right
what
for you to
I
go
would
to. Yeah.
You guys are so into the times.
You know, yeah. Yeah. All right. Here's a look at our satellite radar. We have a great day. Just want to point out, if you are traveling up and down the west today, there's some rain toying with the San Francisco Bay Area. A lot of this has been just south of San Francisco, but we're watching that. Otherwise, we're all dry, certainly all dry here in Oregon and Washington. Our coastal cameras are starting to brighten up, the ones that had some fog. Oh, okay. Now, that was the Oregon Veterans Home camera out in the Dalles. Pardon for that. I wanted to show you that view because that's one of the spots that has been hazy from about the Dalles out toward Pendleton. The yellow dots from Oregon's DEQ, moderate air quality, not overly alarming, but moderate. The green dots are good. There are air quality advisories for mainly the Washington side of the gorge out toward Wasco County, from about the Goldendale area out toward Pendleton. So that's where some of the worst wildfire smoke or haze has been. Here's a beautiful shot from our newest camera, the Vancouver, the Springs at the waterfront view. You can see the pier down there. If you've never been here, it's really beautiful and kind of the pride of Vancouver. I think I'm not overstating that. Beautiful pier you can walk out on and look down over the Columbia. You can see the water is nice and glassy. Again, this morning, the I-5 bridge, temperatures, Kelso 55, Salem the same, 48 in Newport. Again, the coast, it will be sunny today as well. The Dalles 48, all clear inland. Temperatures have warmed out of the 30s into the mid-40s now for you folks out in Burns and Baker City this morning. The gorge, warm to hot this afternoon. The Dalles all the way up to about 89. And again, as you get especially east of Hood River, you'll be picking up increasing wildfire haze. We saw that yesterday. Winds will be light today, north 5 to 15. We had easterly winds yesterday, and there were some 30-mile-per-hour gusts in the west end, including the airport at Troutdale. But none of that expected today as the winds are starting to veer a little bit more to the north and to the northwest. All right, valley forecast numbers, 87 in Salem would equal yesterday's high. In southwest Washington all the way up through Longview and Kelso, right up to about 80, 81. Castle Rock maybe getting up to 80 degrees. This shows Vancouver and Battleground at 85. I've got Portland at 85. So looks like it's going to come true. Our back-to-back 80s yesterday and today. Starting tomorrow, cool wave of water or air coming in off the Pacific, so we'll drop temperatures to 73, 75. Saturday could be a little bit warmer. Sunday stays dry, increasing cloudiness, maybe. And then you got rain at times on Monday and Tuesday of next week. Those are the final 2 days of September, by the way. And now a special report.
Is an NBC News special report.
Good morning, I'm Savannah Sellers, and we're coming on the air with breaking news. Officials are set to update on this morning's deadly shooting at an ICE facility in Dallas. It comes after a shooter opened fire near that facility, killing 2 people, injuring a third, and all of those victims are ICE detainees, according to an ICE spokesperson. We have NBC's Jay Gray. He is in Dallas on the ground. Jay, what's the latest that you're hearing here as we await this press conference?
Yes, Savannah, still multiple federal agencies on the ground, as well as Dallas police. As you talk about, we're waiting to hear not only from the chief of police, but the mayor of Dallas, just a few short steps away. They're expected to walk to the podium at any point. We have just heard, in fact, I think they're there now. Let's listen in.
Prayer, and that prayer changes things. And so I'm going to ask everyone, please join me in praying for the families of the folks who lost their lives today. Pray for the speedy recovery for those who are hurt and were injured in what happened today, but maybe even more to the point, we're a country and a city that needs prayer. So I'm going to ask you all to join me also in praying for this city, that we can come together at a time like this, and that we can be there for one another the way we always have in times like this, to support one another, help us all get through this very difficult time, not just in our city, but in our country. And that's why I'd ask you to pray for our nation. There's a lot going on right now in our country. A lot of it's confusing. It's a scary time. I've got children. I've got 3 young children. And I'm here to tell you that it is challenging to explain to them what's going on in our country right now. But I said before, and I'll say it again, I believe in the power of prayer to change things. And it can change the hearts of people. It can change this country. It can change this city. So please pray for everyone who's affected by today's tragedy. I also want to say thank you to the Dallas Police Department, and say thank you to the Dallas Sheriff's Department, Dallas County Sheriff's Department, Texas Department of Public Safety, and all of our various federal law enforcement partners who acted so quickly today to make sure that today's tragedy wasn't worse than what it was. So on behalf of the city of Dallas, I want to say thank you to all of you. And you're going to hear from some of those folks later, but I want to let you know that we appreciate what you all do, not just today, but every day, to help keep us all safe. And lastly, and this is really important, I would ask all of the city of Dallas residents who can hear me right now, let's be patient, let's remain calm, and let's let our law enforcement partners, our police department, do their job. This is an active investigation. There's still a lot of unanswered questions, and I want to encourage all of you to exercise a little bit of restraint and allow them to do their job to help make sure this continues to be a safe city, and that they can help us figure out what happened here today. But with that, I want to say, again, thank you to all the folks who came out this morning from our law enforcement community. I'll turn it over to our police chief, Daniel Como, to speak a little bit more directly to the investigation itself. And with that, Chief Como, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Today at approximately 6:40 a.m., we received a city officer call. We responded to the call, got to the scene, and we later learned that we had 4 individuals that were shot, 2 of them deceased, including the shooter. The DPD was able to locate the shooter who was deceased. We're going to be working this investigation shoulder to shoulder with our federal partners. The FBI is on scene, and right now I'm going to introduce you to the SAC of the Dallas Field Division, FBI Joe Rumrock.
Yeah, good morning. My name's Joe Rothrock. I'm the special agent in charge of the Dallas FBI Field Office. I want to first start by thanking our partners in local law enforcement, specifically the Dallas Police Department, for their quick and timely response. I can confirm at this time that the FBI is investigating this incident as an act of targeted violence. It is unfortunately just the most recent example we've seen of targeted violence, to include here in North Texas, where back on July 4th, we saw a coordinated attack carried out against an immigration detention center in Alvarado, Texas. What I can also share with you is that early evidence that we've seen from rounds that were found near the suspected shooter contain messages that are anti-ICE in nature. Again, this is just the most recent example of this type of attack. This will be a whole of government response. There will be no resource not utilized to bring all those individuals who are responsible to bring them to justice and to hold them accountable. While we're not releasing identities of any victims at this time, what I can confirm for you is no members of law enforcement were hurt during this attack. If any member of the public has information that would help the FBI's investigation, I would ask that you please report that to 1-800-CALL-FBI. Again, any piece of information will be helpful, but this will be an ongoing investigation between us, a number of federal partners, and our local partners, again, to ensure that anyone responsible is held accountable. With that, I will turn it over to my counterpart from the ICE Enforcement and Removal Office.
Good morning. My name is Joshua Johnson. I'm the acting field office director for ICE Dallas. I'll be brief with my comments, but I do want to start off by saying thank you to the Dallas Police Department, Dallas FBI, HSI, CBP, ATF, and virtually every law enforcement officer in North Texas for your support. This is the second time I've had to stand in front of you and talk about a shooter at one of my facilities, and I think that the takeaway from all of this is that the rhetoric has to stop. There are people out there who are seeing what is being placed online, and they're coming and they're doing acts of violence against ICE employees. So that's kind of all I have for today, is that it's just got to stop. It's dangerous, and people are losing their lives. Thank you.
Thank you all so much for coming. We really appreciate it. Again, thank you all so much. As it was said here today, if you do have any information, reach out to 1-800-CALL-FBI. Thank you. Thank you.
This needs to stop. Violence is wrong. Politically motivated violence is wrong. It was 2 weeks ago today that we saw a political assassination in Utah that tore the heart out of much of this country. This is the third shooting in Texas directed at ICE or CBP. This must stop. To every politician who is using rhetoric demonizing ICE and demonizing CBP, stop. To every politician demanding that ICE agents be doxxed and calling for people to go after their families, stop. This has very real consequences. Look, in America, we disagree. That's fine. That's the democratic process. But your political opponents are not Nazis. We need to learn to work together without demonizing each other, without attacking each other. And I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you To the brave men and women of law enforcement, I want to say thank you. To the brave men and women of ICE and CBP and everyone who puts their lives on the line to keep us safe. The divisive rhetoric tragically has real consequences. I hope that every one of us will pray, number one, for the safety of law enforcement that are risking their lives to keep us safe. Number two, for the health of those who were shot and injured today. We still don't know the full details of who was injured, but for the families also of the victims of this shooting. Violence has no place. It is wrong. And we should come together. If we want to have a debate about immigration policies, we can do so in the halls of Congress without demonizing each other, and especially without demonizing the men and women who every day put on a badge and go risk their lives to keep us safe. And we should not be putting language out there that inspires madmen to commit evil crimes. Our prayers are with the men and women of law enforcement, and we ought to come together and have some decency across the political aisle to say this violence is wrong and it needs to stop.
Senator, have you been told that immigrant detainees were the victims of today's shooting?
My understanding is the details of who the victims are still being ascertained, so I don't want to go ahead of law enforcement releasing these details. What they have said is that no law enforcement was injured, and so that's a natural inference, but I don't know the details.
Special Agent, can you talk a little bit about some of the evidence mentioned earlier? Just for clarity, I think there's going to be a lot of questions. Our understanding is that some of the shell casings had specific writing that was relevant to the voting. Give us more information.
So I'm not going to go into any more details at this time. We will come back to you when we have more details to share. Again, our goal here will be transparency as those details become available. But we are still in the early stages of an investigation. Information is still coming in. When we have more details, we will come back to this group. I'm not going to be identifying victims at this time. The only thing I will confirm at this time is no law enforcement was injured. Certainly you can respect law enforcement's need to make notifications. At this point in time, we're not going to take any additional questions from law enforcement. Again, I'd ask for you to respect the fact that this is an ongoing investigation, and as more details come available.
We're not asking for the names of the victims.
I understand.
General sense if the victims are the detainees.
The only thing I can say right now is no law enforcement was injured this morning as part of the attack. I won't be taking any more questions, neither will law enforcement this time. We'll come back to you later today or in the coming days when we have additional information. Thank you for your time.
Thank you a lot.
You've been listening to officials on the ground in Dallas giving us an update after the shooting at an ICE facility there, specifically with the special agent in charge of the Dallas FBI calling this an act of targeted violence, also saying that rounds found near the shooter had anti-ICE messaging. We still have no information on the victim specifically, but it was emphasized that no law enforcement was hurt. Let's go to NBC's Jay Gray, who is in Dallas. Jay, I think probably the biggest piece of information there, of course, is this point that this seems to be a targeted act of violence. Tell us more what we learned.
Yeah, no question, and that some of the ammo did have what's been described as anti-ICE memos and messages involved. We also got some clarity on what exactly the situation is with victims. 2 dead at the scene, one of those the shooter, and then another victim. We haven't had any clarity on who that victim may be and who the other 2 who were shot may be. We do know that they continue to investigate, as you just heard here, and will continue to investigate this. We're getting some information from those who were inside the facility right now. What I can tell you in talking to some of them is that there was chaos, that there was pandemonium inside. You've got families that have shown up here. It is a check-in station for many immigrants, and so it was a place where they were going through the routine day of appointments, and all of a sudden shots rang out, and they tell me that it was just chaos again inside that facility as well as outside. Dallas police have told us that they are investigating, that the shooter was on a building right next to the facility and shooting from a raised position into an area where they unload detainees for processing. It's just a holding facility, so it's not a place where you constantly see people being detained. They are moved from this facility to another detention facility. We also heard from the mayor talking about the shock and the need for prayer, not only for Dallas, but for this nation. And then a fiery response from Senator Ted Cruz, who walked in during this press briefing and stepped to the microphone talking about the need to tone down the rhetoric that we continue to hear on both sides, he said, of the aisle. But again, the keys to the investigation right now, Savannah, are the position of the gunman, which was on a building next door, we are told, where the shots ended up, and that was in a loading area, a sally port they call it, where detainees are taken out of vehicles, moved through for processing, and then also trying to determine a motive in this case. They stopped short of saying that this was an attack on ICE, though, with the messages that were found on the ammo and other indications, they are going that way, clearly, from the press briefing. So that's what we've learned with regards to the investigation. This area is still locked down, still federal agents on the ground as well as Dallas police, and will be, I'm sure, for quite some time.
Jay Gray on the ground in Dallas for us. Thank you very much. Let's bring in NBC News senior Homeland Security correspondent Julia Ainsley. Julia, we learned there, as expected, this will be this joint investigation between federal and local law enforcement partners. And again, the big piece of information here being that this is being seen as a targeted act of violence, and that messaging on those rounds appearing to be anti-ICE there, according to the FBI agent in charge there for Dallas. Tell us what you're hearing, Julia, and how this is going to impact as the investigation shapes up.
Well, as Jay pointed out, this is a facility where people come in not just after they've been arrested, but also to check in. Those appointments have become much more tense recently because some people may be coming in for a routine check-in, and then they are there detained and set up for possible deportation. So you have a lot of confusion, a lot of anxiety, especially given what happened this morning. And as you heard in that press conference, they're talking about praying for law enforcement, although what we do understand is that none of those shot were ICE officers. We're still waiting for confirmation at this point if one of the other person who was killed, we know one was the shooter, if the other person who was killed was a detainee. That was the message that we heard earlier this morning in some of the initial reports coming out of DHS, that this was an immigrant detainee. At first we thought two. Now it's sounding like there's only one other in addition to the shooter. And we believe that they would have been taken into that sally port after being arrested around 6:40 a.m. local time this morning. This is very common after they do their arrest, often around 5 or 5:30 in the morning when they're going out for these operations. And in that, usually they're handcuffed, there's someone nearby, so unclear at this point who they were targeting.
All right, Julia Ainsley, thank you very much. We're now going to bring in Jim Kavanaugh, retired ATF special agent in charge. He's also an NBC News law enforcement analyst. Jim, I think for anybody who was just listening to that, to hear that there were these messages on bullets on these rounds, you think, not again. What do you make of that development?
Well, you know, on its face, you take the evidence you have, it's the killer screaming his motive to all of us. Now, as a commander investigator on these, you always have a grain of salt that, you know, sometimes anything from the killer can be misdirection. You always have that in the back of your mind, but you have to deal with what the hard evidence is. And so the hard evidence is this guy wants to attack ICE. He obviously is on the building in darkness because they're early in the morning. This is occurring 6:40. He would have to already been up there on the top of the law office, which is, we don't know the distance away. And if he's wanting to shoot ICE, he winds up killing a detainee and wounding others, and then committing suicide, which underpins everything of the whole event. So I think you're going to find out the guy's suicidal. Likely his tactic was developed, you know, after watching these other shootings, the latest one with Mr. Kirk. So whether or not he called in the earlier bomb threat to this place remains to be seen. But he's screaming the motive at us from what he wrote on the bullet cartridges.
Jim Kavanaugh, thank you very much for your expertise and analysis here. Again, this is after officials on the ground in Dallas updating on that shooting at an ICE facility just this morning. That will conclude our NBC News special report, but we will have more coverage ahead on our streaming network, NBC News Now, online at NBC.com and your local NBC station, as well as on Nightly News Tonight. I'm Savannah Sellers. Thank you.
Again, we just got an update on the breaking news we've been following all morning long in Texas, where at least one person was shot and killed at a Dallas ICE facility. 2 other people were shot and injured.
So if you are just joining us right now, the suspected shooter is also dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound and was found on the roof of a nearby immigration attorney's office. Officials say police found bullet casings near the suspect that were engraved with anti-ICE messages. This is a live look at the scene right now from our NBC affiliate in Dallas. It remains unclear if there are any other shooters involved in the incident. Police units responded to the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement Office shortly before 7 a.m. local time there. Vice President J.D. Vance responding to Chrissy Nome saying, quote, "The obsessive attack on law enforcement, particularly ICE, must stop. I'm praying for everyone hurt in this attack and for their families." We'll also continue to follow this breaking news story live here on KGW Plus and online at KGW.com.
We also have some local news to get to over the next 20 minutes, but first we check in with Rod Hill and his forecast.
Yeah, good morning. If you're up and you're about ready to start your day, you will walk outside under a clear sky, all inland areas this morning. There's our state capitol down in Salem, 55 degrees, calm winds. Similar blue sky over the Rose City this morning, 58 is the current number. And this will be the second of the little run of 80-degree temperatures. Yesterday it was 88, today 73 at noon, and getting up to about 85 at 5 o'clock. We will be cooling back down into the 70s starting tomorrow. Here's Chris.
All right, Rod, thanks for that. Let's get you back to the drive out of Clark County. So good news here, I guess, is that the end of the line has made its way over the Interstate Bridge, but it starts just south of this camera vantage point near the Expo Center, and from there it's still slow and go the rest of the way down to the Fremont Bridge. So with that in mind, 26 minutes of the drive time in from Main Street, and a solid 24 of that is from basically the Interstate Bridge down to the Fremont. So the congestion now on the Oregon side. We'll keep it on the Oregon side here. Checking out Murray Boulevard. This is out on Highway 26, and the eastbound commute, again, staring into that rising sun. So that's probably adding to some of the slowing on that side of town. And at last check, the northbound drive from Wilsonville also very, very thick now. We're up to about 41 minutes to get you in from Wilsonville. This is the live look through the 205 interchange. You guys, no crashes to report at this point, just kind of slow and go on northbound I-5. Back.
All right, thank you, Chris. Let's get to some of our local news headlines here at 8:40. We have another warning from police this morning after credit card skimmers turned up in at least 7 local stores over the past few days.
Those stores are in Portland, Tigard, and Hillsboro. Catherine Cook has more on what you need to look out for as you check out.
Just keep this in the back of your mind as something to watch out for.
Kelsey Anderson with Tigard Police says more and more crooks are using credit card skimmers like these to steal people's information. In just the last couple of days, Tigard Police have responded to 3 different businesses that found illegal devices on their pay terminals. Early Sunday morning, a customer discovered a skimmer at this 7-Eleven store on 99W and Southwest Park Street. Surveillance video shows someone likely installed it Saturday night. Also Saturday, police say managers at 2 different Dollar Tree stores on 99W found card skimmers. One store on Southwest Durham Road and another on Southwest Hall Boulevard.
We only know about the cases that are reported. And so how much more prevalent this is difficult for us to say, but we have definitely seen an increase in the last couple of days all throughout the metro area in different jurisdictions. So it is something that is definitely happening right now.
And it's not just in Tigard. Hillsboro police say card skimmers were found at 3 Dollar Tree stores in Washington County. And on Tuesday, Portland police responded to the Dollar Tree store at Mall 205 after someone found a card skimmer there. If you recently used a credit card at any of those stores, police say pay extra attention to credit card activity and report anything unusual.
Credit card skimmers are a tricky thing because they're not very easy to see unless you know what to look for.
To spot a skimmer, police say check credit card readers for signs of tampering, including looseness, unusual bulkiness, or a safety seal that's broken. If you can, use tap or a mobile wallet instead of swiping a card, and always cover the keypad when entering your PIN. Catherine Cook, KGW News.
The state of Washington is rolling out new taxes and fees that a lot of people didn't even know exist until now. So these are all part of the massive $12 billion tax and fee package that Washington's governor signed back in May, the largest in Washington's history. And it has small businesses and nonprofits in the state trying to figure out exactly what these services are that are taxable now and how much they owe the state of Washington. So here's an example of what's new. Classes or workshops that used to be tax-free are now considered live presentations, and they are subject to taxes.
Well, I don't think anyone should be spiking the football or putting up these numbers on their refrigerators at home. Let's be realistic. We're still not where we were pre-pandemic. Everybody has a yearning for that moment in time to say that's when we'll know Portland's back, and we're not there.
I would say there's a lot of foot traffic in downtown. Many of us feel quite safe.
I mean, I would just say it's but I can't say that on TV.
So we apologize. This story that we're airing right now is about the foot traffic in downtown Portland over the last 8 months. Bottom line, the gist of the story is that downtown foot traffic is up this year from January to August compared to that same time frame a year ago, and it's up significantly when you compare it to that same time frame 4 years ago during the pandemic year of 2021.
According to the latest U.S. News and World Report rankings, the University of Portland is on top private schools in Western U.S. It's the latest in a string of accolades. Forbes also ranked UP as the #1 private university in the Pacific Northwest. U.S. News also honored UP faculty, ranking them #1 in the West for best undergraduate teaching. Overall, the university came in second among all schools in the region, marking its 7th straight year in the top 3. President Robert Kelly says the recognition reflects the school's commitment to teaching, faith, and service, and hopes it inspires prospective students to take a closer look. Meanwhile, Portland State University is celebrating a big honor as well. For the 6th year in a row, PSU has been ranked #1 in the Pacific Northwest for social mobility in 2026. U.S. News and World Report social mobility measures how well a school helps economically disadvantaged students, particularly Pell Grant recipients, graduate and move up the economic ladder. More than half of PSU students receive Pell Grants, and university leaders say the rankings show that their efforts are paying off. This year, U.S. News and World Report also placed PSU 42nd nationwide in social mobility. President Ann Cudd says the school's mission has always been an engine of opportunity. All right, your time now is 8:45. Wow. Pretty good news there, Rob.
Yeah, nice accolades for 2 schools there. Huh?
Absolutely. My kids are all about now looking at which colleges they want to attend next year. I'm losing track because they're thinking about a lot, but you got to narrow it down to 1.
What I got out of that conversation is you're going to be broke soon.
It's already happened, by the way. Already happened.
Here's a look at our satellite radar picture. We've got mainly clear skies inland for a second day in a row here, and it will be another warm day. Most of the state will be up into the 80s. We're continuing to monitor air quality. The news is not horrible here locally, but the air quality, would love it to be green, which is good. And from Oregon's DEQ, the dots are really more yellow, moderate than good at this hour. Remember, the worst of the wildfire action is up here in the northern 3rd tier of Washington, and you can see some very unhealthy air reports up in that area. That's due to the wildfire smoke up that direction. We do have an air quality alert for you folks on the Washington side of the East Gorge, including Goldendale today, where air quality numbers are moderate this morning but could get worse. Here's a look at the fog starting to clear. That's a blue sky from Schnookwan's Casino Resort in Lincoln City. 48 right now, expecting highs of the beach in the 60s today. Perfectly clear over the mountain, our Mount Hood Timberline Lodge live camera. And another sign that this continues to be a warm batch of air, what we call the air mass. 64 up at 6,000 feet. Here down low along the Columbia, gorgeous morning from the springs at the waterfront camera on the Vancouver side of the river. 58 degrees at Pearson Airfield in Clark County. We're 58 at PDX, 48 out in the Dalles, where it's another hazy but sunny start for you. And after being in the 30s, Burns and Baker City, good morning. You're both up into the mid-40s at this hour. So really nice day that turns into kind of a summer-like afternoon, which is what we saw yesterday. Here are the numbers. 87 McMinnville, Salem, 88 in Corvallis. Again, records are still up into the 90s. In fact, Portland's record today is 96. How about that? 85 in Battleground, 85 in Vancouver, 81 today up in Longview. Enjoy it. Our forecast, the cooler day at the beach compared to yesterday, 60s. But inland areas, generally 80s and mostly well up into the 80s. There's Bend at 88 degrees this afternoon. Our 7-day forecast, here we go. It still looks like we're all dry through Sunday. So we expected 2 days in the 80s. Yesterday, 88. Today, 85. Still looks like we'll cool down tomorrow, 73. And then some of these upcoming mornings may begin with some fog or low cloudiness, but it will be dry into Sunday. Growing confidence. We have wet weather coming Monday, wet weather coming on Tuesday, and there might even be some showers lingering into Wednesday. Here is Chris McGinnis.
New windshield wipers, new tires, check, get ready for Monday. All right, let's go ahead and get you out the door. In Tualatin, northbound I-5 still running really thick through the 205 interchange to the tune of about, what's that say, 17 miles an hour? I don't know. That looks even slower than that at this point. Your drive in from Wilsonville is one of the slower commutes remaining at this hour now. Still looking at about 40 minutes or so totally from Wilsonville Road to downtown. The inbound Sunset also still pretty thick. This is out near Murray Boulevard. You saw that drive time a couple minutes ago, about a couple seconds ago. Last slide, 32 minutes gets you in from Hillsborough. And at last check, I-5. So here's the deal with this one. The end of the line out of Clark County has made its way over the Interstate Bridge, but then you hit a wall of traffic right around Columbia Boulevard. So you're still looking at almost 30 minutes to get you in from Vancouver to downtown Portland. China?
Thank you, Chris. All right, your time now is 8:49. In an update this morning, an Oregon firefighter arrested last month while battling the Bear Gulch fire in Washington has now been released from immigration detention. 23-year-old Rigoberto Hernandez was taken into custody by Border Patrol and spent nearly 4 weeks at the Northwest ICE Processing Center. His application for citizenship was still pending when he was arrested. He has one prior misdemeanor for speed racing. He was released Tuesday and is now back home in Oregon. We'll be right back.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
Here's a quick recap of some of this morning's top local stories. Police say a man was shot and killed in northwest Portland just after 8:30 last night near 29th and Nikolai Street. Investigators say paramedics and a bystander tried to save the man, but he died at the scene. Police have not yet identified a suspect. Meanwhile, the search is on for a 26-year-old murder suspect who was mistakenly released from the Multnomah County Jail earlier this week. Tyler Sage went to jail in May on charges tied to the shooting death of a 15-year-old in Gresham 4 years ago. A judge ordered to keep Sage in jail, but a clerical error in the court order mistakenly let him get out of jail on Monday. The relatives of 3 people who died after they were electrocuted during a local January ice storm last year are suing PGE and a landlord for $375 million. The lawsuit alleges PGE failed to safely maintain the wires and the power pole that were involved in those deaths.
Weather time, another clear sky day. Remember, this is the end of the back-to-backer. Yesterday 88, today 85. The back-to-backer is the warm weather. 70s and all dry tomorrow through Sunday. Rain comes back, which we could use, as you know, Monday and Tuesday.
All right, let's get you out the door. Quick look at some places that aren't so quick. 217 on the left-hand side of your screen. That northbound commute still kind of slow right now because of an earlier crash near Allen Boulevard. Your drive times right now not looking all that great still from Wilsonville. That's still about a 40-minute commute. The trip in from Hillsborough, more than 30 minutes, pretty slow in the sun glare out near Murray. And that drive from Clark County is, well, so it's a little misleading. The end of the line is over the interstate bridge. But once you get there, you hit the wall of traffic right around Columbia Boulevard. So it's still 25 minutes in from Vancouver.
I'm sure college football fans already know this, but we are just days away at this point from the Ducks' biggest game of the season so far. Oregon is going to take on Chris McGinnis's alma mater, Penn State, on Saturday.
Penn State!
Okay, guys, come on. Think about your audience, for goodness sakes. There's going to be 100,000 plus fans there at Penn State. It's going to be the whiteout game if you've ever seen this or if you've never seen it. Either way, it is impressive to see.
It's even more fun to be a part of that crowd when you're the home team, of course. 106,000 is the seating capacity there, by the way, at the stadium. So I think it's like the second largest venue in college football. It's really, college football is awesome. College football at a big stadium is really awesome.
Well, I know a lot of...
I mean, go Penn State. I mean, go Ducks.
I know a lot of the players on Oregon's roster, they've never experienced that environment. So take a listen.
I think Coach Lanning said it great today. It's a whiteout because it's Oregon. So, you know, they know what's coming and we know what's coming. So like I said, it's going out there and who executes the best. It's just about eliminating the crowd aspect and going in there and playing our game.
I know it's going to be on a big stage. We got a whiteout. We got it at night. And I'm just super excited to play there. Like, I'm excited every week, so it doesn't really change too much week to week.
We will help get you hyped for the big game, Duck fans. We're going to have live coverage from Pennsylvania Friday and Saturday. We'll also have a countdown to kickoff. It's going to be a special that airs Saturday afternoon right before kickoff at 3:30. All that, of course, leads up to the big game itself. It's happening right here on KGW. We're very proud to be carrying this game for you. Rod Hill earlier said it's a big deal. It's a big headline. You question that. It is big.
Well, you said the biggest thing is on KGW, which I love your dedication to the station.
I think you misunderstood me. I said we've got the pregame show, but what's a bigger deal, what's of more importance is the fact that we have the game itself.
You know what's cool? If Oregon does win, or Penn State for that matter, either one of those teams could probably say, we may be the best in the country at this point in the season.
Have something to say about that.
Yeah, the UW Huskies, man, they take on Ohio State this week.
So yeah, like two big games happening at the same time, really to decide what's going to kind of where that conference goes the rest of the season. All right,
ahead.
Sunrise Show, all said and done. China Green.
Yeah.
Thanks for being a part of our program.
You're so welcome.
You can watch us, of course, anytime you darn well please, right here on KGW Plus, our free TV streaming app. We'll see you tomorrow morning for another edition of Sunrise.